This is going to be a comprehensive guide on how to lose weight using real science, using whole foods. So if you follow this, you're going to be able to lose weight and improve your health. This is a really important video, and you need to be real with yourself, first of all, if you need to lose weight. While we should not be trying to chase some crazy body image of being like completely ripped, which can actually be kind of unhealthy if you get to really low levels of body fat, we also need to be real that if we are carrying belly fat and carrying excess adipose tissue, it can put our health at risk. This has been clearly established. So let's get into how to lose that weight. The first thing you want to do is find your total daily energy expenditure, your TDEE as it's called. There are calculators online where you can find this. Now, this measurement is not perfect, but it is a decent range of basically how many calories you are burning through in any given day. To do this, look up TDEE calculator. There's a few free ones online. Put in your age, your weight, your height. And now when it asks for activity level, you need to be real with yourself. When they refer to exercise, they mean actual hard workout. So if you aren't working out hard, you need to be real with yourself. You're only going to harm yourself if you overestimate how much you work out. Some weeks I really am doing that heavy exercise protocol, 6 to 7 days, hard training in the week. So on those days where I'm really working out hard, it probably puts me around 2,847 calories. This is important to know because you do have to be in a calorie deficit to lose weight. For some reason, people in the holistic health community, which I would say I am part of, I'm a big fan of it, have sometimes denied calories in, calories out. The simple fact is this just does work for weight loss. When you go into a calorie deficit, you lose weight. When you go into a calorie surplus, you put on weight. Now, we'll get into why some of the arguments sort of, I would say, against that simplification do make sense, because you can make life really easy for yourself or really difficult for yourself. But we need to make it clear that that is the most important thing to look at. If you are in a deficit, you are going to start to lose weight. If you're in a surplus, you're going to gain weight. If you're at maintenance, you're going to stay at the weight you're at. This video is going to be very practical, and while it's going to dive somewhat into the science of why this stuff works and what you need to understand, it's going to be more of a video that you can watch and then you can be like, I'm going to go do this right now. So the first thing should be you download a food tracking app. There's MyFitnessPal, there's Chronometer. In here, you can start to enter in foods you are eating to get a general range and knowledge of how calorically dense they are and how many calories you are consuming in a day. For some people, they will really have to track their food and stick to this. For other people, they don't. They start to learn basically like what calories are, the fact that like olive oil is really calorically dense, so is butter. They start to generally get a range of how they feel, and they can go into a slight deficit without needing to track exactly. But the simple fact is, if you have no idea, no concept of how many calories a certain food is, you should download one of these apps and start to track everything you eat in a day. And I'm talking everything. If you put olive oil on top of your food or grass-fed butter or whatever it is, those are still calories. So now let's get into how to live a day, a perfect day, starting from the morning. When you wake up in the morning, the first thing you should do is go outside and hydrate. This is going to help your circadian rhythm and all of the things the holistic health community talks about of sleep, exercise, sunlight, movement, hormones, all these things do matter. Why do they matter? Well, calories in, calories out is the foundation. Your body has an immune function. It has an endocrine system or a hormone system. It has your gut health. And these things do dictate how you feel. You have the gut-brain axis, which is involved in dopamine, serotonin, norepinephrine. And while people have proven that you can lose weight eating Twinkies and McDonald's and all this crappy food that I hate, the simple fact is, in reality, it's extremely difficult for people, because if you get sick for a week eating those foods, it's going to make it harder. If you have a lack of energy because you are developing some nutrient deficiencies, it's going to make it harder to go hard at the gym. If you're eating not enough protein and real whole foods to help your body recover and get good sleep, it's going to make it harder. So all this is going to be based on a real whole foods diet. Our main goal throughout the day is to hit our protein goal. How you can find your protein goal is very simple. Find the goal body weight that you want to be at and make sure that goal body weight puts you at a relatively lean physique. You want to eat that many grams of protein every single day. For many people, if I tell them, hey, eat this many grams of protein per day, walk a lot, lift some weights, eat whole foods, they will lose weight. Studies have shown that eating a high protein diet and eating good amounts of fiber from real whole foods will stimulate these satiety hormones like GLP-1, which you probably heard of people doing Ozempic, GLP-1s, and you have other hunger hormones which get stimulated better, to oversimplify, when you eat real sources of protein, fiber. And we're gonna dive into exactly what foods and walk you through this day. But when you feel full, it makes life easy because then you feel good. You see, most of your calories are not burned through exercise. Even if you're exercising exercising pretty hard, they are burned through something called BMR. This is your basal metabolic rate. It's the calories that your body uses to do basic functions. BMR is going to be like 50 to 80% of the calories you burn. There's also the thermic effect of food, meaning your body literally uses calories to digest the food you are eating, and this accounts for about 5 to 10% of the calories you burn. And then you have exercise, which of course can burn calories. The real trick is as your body gets healthier and you exercise more and your mitochondria function better, that BMR can be increased, because as you get more jacked, which is essential for losing weight, muscle mass burns more energy than fat. Why we're going to focus on protein is because it has the highest thermic effect out of all of the macronutrients. You have proteins, fats, and carbs. All of them are essential in having a healthy diet, but you really want to focus on protein. So for breakfast, what you're going to do is have some eggs. If you're trying to lose weight, don't use a large amount of butter, but yeah, you can use a little bit of butter. Or you can go with a protein shake. Blend up some fruit, some dairy, and some protein powder. Starting your day off right out the gate with 30 or 40 grams of protein is a great idea. I like to have some black coffee with this, as coffee does help limit your appetite. Caffeine can be amazing. You just don't really want to have it after about 12 for most people. And you definitely don't want to be putting sugar or some of these crazy additives that are in some coffee. Just black coffee, maybe a little splash of milk. Remember to track that dairy if you're putting it in there. And the other really true thing is if you don't want to have breakfast and you just want to wake up and have some water with some electrolytes and fast, that is totally fine. One of the most important things I'm about to tell you right now is if you are really trying to lose weight, there might be periods of time in the day where you are hungry. The goal is obviously not to starve yourself because you want to really start to fuel your workouts. But it's crazy that this is like controversial to say. You might have to go hungry at times and really learn to be hungry, and that it's okay and that your body's not going to pass out or just like perish if you're just like skipping breakfast or skipping lunch. That is okay. And a lot of people who struggle with being overweight don't realize this, and they think they need to eat every few hours or they need to constantly snack on something. And you do really have to learn to give up those habits and just sit down and eat real healthy meals. Unless you have some certain medical condition, of course, consult with your doctor about all this stuff. You don't need to snack all the time on food. So now that you have consumed that breakfast, I really want you to start getting your steps in. One of the main goals every single day for you is going to be to get 10,000 steps in. That might sound really easy, but it's going to take some focus and some dedicated walks. You can up your steps by pacing around, at your work, at your house. You might be astonished to learn that walking 1 mile and running 1 mile burn almost the same amount of calories. And while running has other effects of raising our VO2 max, it's more intense exercise, so you're going to get slightly more caloric burn, especially if you're doing it at a high pace. Walking 1 mile is simply going to take more time than running 1 mile, so that caloric burn is actually not too far off. Lunch is going to be very simple. I want you to have protein and greens. For dessert for lunch, you can have a piece of fruit. Again, we're starting to eat some of these higher fiber, higher protein rich meals, helping stimulate a lot of those satiety hormones. And while some of these meals might seem a little calorically dense, the simple fact is you're not going to be able to eat 5 of them. A steak salad is a great option. Chicken with asparagus, great option. And if you want to throw in a little bit of carbohydrates here, some potatoes are really good. That's a food that's going to help keep you full. And now the workouts. In my opinion, minimum 3 times per week, but you really should up it to 4. You are going to want to get into the gym and lift weights for roughly an hour. Go through a little warm up, and then you can use the machines, you can use the dumbbells, whatever it is. You want to pick a few body parts and go hard at them. Lifting weights builds muscle and increases that metabolic rate that we talked about. It has many unique effects on your endocrine system, which are your hormones, and your neurotransmitters. It is the biggest hack for starting to get in really good shape and getting shredded. And while I will tell you some little kind of tricks and some supplements and some of those things that really do help, the information I'm sharing with you right now is just real shit. And it's a real program that you can kind of live forever and make a lifestyle that will truly allow you to be at the body weight that you want to be at. So now you've hit that weightlifting workout. Don't forget, you still got to hit your 10,000 steps. And the key thing is when you go home, I don't want you just crashing into the couch. In front of my couch, I have a carpet, and it all like my mother-in-law and sometimes even my wife are like, oh, I want a coffee table here. No, we're not having a coffee table in front of the TV. Why? I do stretches while I'm watching TV. I'll put on the UFC. I'll put on a show with my girl. I'm doing stretches. And while this may seem trivial, just fidgeting and moving and stretching throughout the day burns an immense amount of calories. For dinner, I'm having some protein, some greens, and some carbs. And then for dessert, I'm having some type of fruit usually. This can look like some steak and maybe a baked potato, whatever it is. You guys see all the recipes I post. There's so many of them. When you're tracking your food, make sure to add in any fats that you're cooking the meat in or veggies in. Don't worry about salt. Salt up your food, season it up. That's not going going to matter. And the big thing that gets a lot of people is they want something for dessert. I completely understand. Greek yogurt bowls with fruit are going to be your best friend. The reason is when you eat these higher volume foods and snacks throughout the day, it's going to help you feel full. I'm going to quickly list off some of my high volume foods that I like. What this means is they are pretty low in calories, but they're really going to make you feel full. Number one, berries. Strawberries, blueberries, blackberries, whatever it is. Get organic berries. If you want to get frozen, you can get organic ones. It's way more affordable. We've done a video before, like comparing how many calories, I think it was like 800 calories of strawberries is. It's an insane amount. It almost looks fake. Cucumbers and zucchini are excellent. Cucumbers almost have no calories. So I like to create a little snack. I've done a recipe video on it before, slicing them thin, putting a little wild smoked salmon on there, a little dollop of cream cheese. Absolutely amazing. And it makes you feel really full. Boiled potatoes are one of the highest satiety foods out there. So you can make like a healthy yellow curry chicken or something like that and use some of those boiled potatoes, some carrots in there. Meals like that are going to help you feel full. And then pretty much any lean portion of protein. I'm a huge fan of whey protein. Like, it's no BS. I'm not trying to put on my brand. Every single day I'm grabbing our whey protein and I'm mixing it up in a shake or in a yogurt bowl. And the reason I do that is because I'm like, every day I need to hit 160 grams of protein. Helps my muscles recover, but it also helps me feel full. So having something that simple is key. Like, you really should have some good high quality whey protein on hand while you are doing this weight loss challenge. And if your body doesn't tolerate whey, look towards a beef isolate protein. So now the day is winding down, it's nighttime, and if you have tracked your calories and tracked your exercise and your total daily energy expenditure throughout the day, a good place to be at is about 300 to 500 calories in a deficit. You don't need to push into some crazy deficit because it just makes life difficult for you. It can negatively affect your sleep. It's just not a good long-term thing to do. And so yes, this doesn't create crazy fast results, but the actual studies show that when you lose weight sort of over a slightly longer period of time, maybe a half pound per week, a pound per week, you're actually able to stick to it for longer. Before bed, I would really recommend taking some magnesium glycinate. And there's other products out there like our sleep caps that can sort of make you tired, because I know people say sometimes, oh, it's hard for me to fall asleep. And again, if you're gonna get hungry, eat one of those high volume snacks. Do not get up and eat a super calorically dense snack. Water is gonna help here. Stuff like L-glutamine in water or electrolytes in water. It's going to be amazing for you. Sleep is super critical for this whole process. When you get even one night of poor sleep, ghrelin, which is your hunger hormone, goes up, and leptin, which tells your body that you're full, goes down. This is going to cause more food cravings. Even for someone like myself, I don't really need to worry about my weight right now, but we got back from a trip from Texas and I got limited sleep, and I could feel myself craving certain foods, which really normally isn't the case for me. To get good sleep, make your room dark, make it relatively cool, whatever you find comfortable. For me, about 68 degrees is good. Don't expose yourself to bright blue light at night. So like, put some blue light blockers on, make your phone red. We've talked about this on many other posts on how to get good sleep. Do a nice meditation routine at night where you're basically inhaling a little bit and then lengthening your exhale and letting everything relax and drift off into good sleep. That's a dream day. And now we're going to get into some sort of rapid fire stuff that's going to help you. Number one, there are certain supplements that can sort of help your blood sugar, like alpha-lipoic acid, vitamin C, magnesium. And while these supplements are not going to directly make you lose weight, you could gain weight or lose weight while taking these. What it is going to do is help with your blood sugar and make life easier for you. Creatine is another one that I think is very misunderstood. Creatine is going to help your ATP production and help facilitate harder workouts for you. And it will help you put on some muscle, which is going to help you burn more calories at rest. So I think a dose of about 5 grams per day, because you are embarking on an exercise regimen during this weight loss time. It's a very solid idea and a solid supplement to add in. Next is ashwagandha. Ashwagandha is commonly misused and people take it in the morning. So you don't want to fear having higher cortisol in the morning. You want a nice rhythm of cortisol that rises when you wake up and basically falls throughout the day. So after training, when I get home, is when I'm taking some ashwagandha. This is going to help lower my cortisol a bit, help facilitate deeper sleep, and it's a very affordable, easy to use supplement. And when used right, it can lead to more feelings of calmness, lead to slightly better endocrine function, so more testosterone. So I'm a huge fan of it. Tools like sauna can help. Now, saunas don't burn an insane amount of calories. You can burn 100, 200, sometimes 300 calories in like a sauna session, but they've been shown to help with sleep. And there is some truth. Do saunas help you detoxify? There's actual studies on that, helping you sweat out stuff like heavy metals, even BPA. So if you have access to a sauna at your gym, get in there a few times a week. It's a good thing. And the last thing I'll talk about is basically how you want to manage your macronutrients. There's simply a variety of ways to go about this. In my opinion, if you are trying to lose weight, a higher protein, lower carb diet is the way to go. Why is this? Let me be clear that I'm definitely not saying no carb. I eat potatoes, I eat fruit, I eat veggies, and in the day that I planned out, yeah, you're going to be eating some of those carbs. Carbs do help you fuel your workout. They get you fiber, and they're a pretty satiating food and not one you need to fear. fear. However, oftentimes for people that aren't embarking on some really strenuous training program, they might need a little less carbohydrates than they think. And really the main goal, as I said, should be hitting that protein goal. It will be a life changer for you. You also don't want to completely cut out healthy fats. While fats are very calorically dense, and it's one of the things you really do need to focus on how much you're adding. If you're not seeing progress, if you're gaining weight week after week, it's most likely you're cooking some food in some olive oil or some butter or adding it to your meals or getting takeout from restaurants where you have no idea how much fat they've added to that meal. And it can quickly take a meal that you think, oh, okay, this meal is, this many calories. It could up it by 300 like that. And as we said, you're trying to get like a 300 to 500 calorie deficit probably. So 2 meals like that and you are in a surplus. But having some grass-fed butter or a little bit of coconut oil or some olive oil is totally okay. And it's going to help many things like your brain function, your skin health, and your endocrine system. The goal is to create a lifestyle where it feels natural to be in a slight deficit. And while you can get on the scale and weigh yourself, you shouldn't worry about it too much because our body does have fluctuations in water weight. So really give yourself some time and check in with yourself. Maybe weigh yourself once a week instead of weighing yourself every single day. You can do this on a whole foods diet, and I promise you it's going to make your life easier. When your immune function is better, your gut function is better, your neurotransmitter function is better, you are going to feel better. Getting to a healthy weight is so critical. It's probably one of the biggest issues our country is facing is that most people are overweight and obese. And you really want to look at it in like chunks. Like if you are, 40, 50 pounds overweight, just get to a point where you learn how to lose weight. And then if your goal is to get shredded and have abs, like look at that as a bit of a separate project down the road. You can do it. Eat those real foods, get those steps in, lift some weights, up that protein intake, and hit that slight deficit. I love you guys so much. I'm glad you're embarking on this journey. If you're watching this video and you're like, all right, I'm gonna start tomorrow, we're here with you. We support you. Get after it, and yeah, you're gonna have to put in some hard work. You might have to, go hungry occasionally to hit that goal. It's okay, you can do it. Let me know any questions you have below, and follow me for more stuff like this because I post helpful stuff for your health every single week. Get after it, let's go.